So hello and good evening students, and welcome back to Global Online platform. This is Chandni Swarnikar, and today we are going to cover D.H. Lawrence. He's very important from both the perspectives of NET and of Maharashtra SET. Okay, so it's very important for us to cover him, basically cover his works. Okay, you can get my lectures at 8 p.m. on a daily basis, but before diving into the video, let me share that there is a great opportunity to prepare smartly for the April 2024 Maharashtra SET. Global Online is offering basically a comprehensive English literature course. You'll have access to video lectures that explain concepts using short and effective methods. The course author provide downloadable PDF notes for your convenience. Additionally, you'll get mock tests that simulate real exam conditions, boosting your final preparation. To learn more, reach out to the provided contact number. Okay, now if you want to watch the free videos, first download the Global Online app here. Once you are in, head to the store section. There you'll find details of all the courses. Use the search bar to directly type in the course name, and you'll see an overview along with fees for the duration. Click on the content section and you'll find unit wise folders. In each unit you'll get theory lectures, evaluation, notes, mock tests and MCQs. No need for extra reading. Okay, now if you decide to join the paid course, you'll also be added to a WhatsApp group. In that group you'll receive PDF for each session along with the videos link. It's a great way to stay connected and get additional resources. So happy learning. Now as usual, we will start our main concern of today. Okay, so D.H. Lawrence. Now, so D.H. Lawrence was born in 1885 and died in 1930. When he was born in 1885, he was born and died in 1930. He actually contributed as a novelist, okay, as an English novelist, short story writer. He also wrote poems and as well as essays. Okay, so contributed in different genres. Now, E.M. Foster basically. In previous lecture, we have covered E.M. Foster. So here we are going to talk about E.M. Foster, what he said about D.H. Lawrence. He actually describes him as the greatest imaginative novelist of our generation. What? The greatest imaginative novelist of our generation. Who said this? E.M. Foster. About whom? About D.H. Lawrence. Okay? Now, let's start with the works. So the first and very prominent work of D.H. Lawrence is Sons and Lovers. Okay, Sons and Lovers was published in 1913, and it's like not an earlier title. Basically, an old title was supposed to be Paul Morale, because the whole story revolves around this character. But actually, at the end, D.H. Lawrence chose Sons and Lovers. Okay, so if they will ask you what is the old title of Sons and Lovers, you can answer Paul Morale, right? Now, basically, you will see in D.H. Lawrence's work, industrialization, family relationships, societal norms, you'll see a lot of things here. So even in Sons and Lovers, you're going to see that. Okay, a novel that explores the complexities of family relationships and the impact of industrialization on society. Okay, so as I told you, you're going to see the impact of industrialization basically in almost all the works of D.H. Lawrence. Okay, now basically the story is all about moral family. It's not moral. Okay, the spelling is very different. Okay, so it actually follows the life of moral family. Protagonist is Paul Morale. Okay, and basically his mother Gertrude, and also there are characters like Gertrude married to Walter Morale, the father of Paul Morale, and also there are two characters, the important characters, the women characters are Miriam Levers and Clara Joss. Okay, so basically Paul Morale is somewhere having a very complex relationship with his mother. Okay, and you are going to see Oedipus complex here, and as we have already talked about Oedipus complex, what it is, okay, in previous lectures. If you have not seen that, please do. Now, the story follows the Morale family, focusing on the protagonist, Paul Morale, and his relationship with his mother, Gertrude, okay, and various romantic interests. Of course, Paul Morale has various romantic interests as Miriam Levers and Clara Dawes. Now, the whole story revolves around Paul Morrell, as we said. Now, novel begins with Gertrude's discontent in her marriage to Walter Morrell, a coal miner. Who was he? Like, the father of Paul Morrell was a coal miner, and his wife was very unhappy. Okay, and as the couple struggles with financial difficulties and Walter's drinking, Gertrude becomes emotionally dependent on her son, especially Paul. What happens here? Financial difficulties higher. A drinking problem is also here, alcoholism. Okay, so by the time Gertrude started emotionally depending on her son, okay, especially Paul. Now, Paul in turn forms intense and complicated relationships with women, including Miriam Levers and Clara Dawes. So, you need to read the story. You are going to see a very different perspective of the world. Okay. Now, as I told you, the Oedipal complex is there. The narrative delves into the psychological aspects of the characters and portraying the Oedipal complex and the struggle for individuality in the face of family bonds. Okay, so you may struggle, I may struggle, because even being in a family, we need to have to have our own identities, right? So the whole story also talks about that. Now, Lawrence vividly captures the tensions between love, duty, and personal fulfillment, because somewhere Paul will be confused. Okay, what to choose, whether to choose his mother or to choose Miriam. Okay. Now, the novel also reflects the societal changes brought about by the Industrial Revolution. So, by the time Industrial Revolution came, how society changes, that will also reflect with the working class setting and its impact on characters' life. With the working class, basically, it's not talking about the upper class, okay, or middle class. It's all about working class and how it impacted them, okay, in which way. This is all about that. Now, second work is Rainbow. Rainbow was published in 1915. Okay, and it's a sequel. Like there is a sequel of Rainbow, Woman in Love. Do remember, we are going to talk about that too. Now, so here understand there are two characters. First, we'll talk about Ursula. Okay, Ursula will be our main focus after some time, but novel basically begins with Tom Brangwen. It is all about Brangwen family. Even in the sequel, you are going to see that. So Tom Brangwen will be our main focus in the beginning. Okay, but like when story progresses, the shift basically the shift of the story will be on Ursula. Okay, now let's start. A novel that explores the lives of the Brangwen family over several generations in the English Midlands. The novel begins with the Tom Brangwen, a farmer, who was a farmer, and his wife Lydia. It all started with a partner, with a couple basically, Tom Brangwen and Lydia. Now, their marriage serves as a starting point for examining the evolving dynamics between men and women. But as the story progresses, as I told you, the focus shifts to their daughter Ursula, who becomes the central character. Now, central character is like free-spirited, who wants to do her own things, independent women, okay, who is seeking for her own meanings and fulfillment beyond societal norms. Okay, so you can when you read it, you will relate to yourself to Ursula. Now, Ursula's relationship, there are two men with Skrebensky and later Anton Skrebensky exemplify the complexities of love and desire in a changing world. I think it's all about today's world. It's not about 1913 or 1915. It's all about today's world, how people are confused, complexities, right? So you can feel it. Now, the third work is Women in Love, which was published in 1920. See, it's a sequel, so of course it talks about Ursula, and there are other characters as well, but the main focus will be two sisters, okay, on two sisters, Ursula and Gudrun. Now, explores the complex relationships and societal dynamics among four characters. First is Ursula, second Gudrun Brangwen, okay, then third Gerald Crutch and Rupert Boken. And you must be wondering, who are they? Actually, love interest of these two ladies, okay. Now, Ursula and Gudrun sisters, have a very contrasting personality, like different. Both have a different way. Have you ever experienced or watched a movie where two characters are there, but one is having a traditional values and one is having a modern or very outspoken values? Okay, even I think there is a movie of Priyanka Chopra and Anushka Sharma. So the both characters are very different. Even though they were not sisters, Ursula's relationship with Rupert Birkin, you are going to say, is central, reflecting Lawrence's exploration of the evolving dynamics between men and women in a changing world. You are going to see that. Now, with Gudrun, on the other hand, becomes involved with Gerard Crich. Do remember the love interest of these characters, okay? Ursula with Rupert Birkin and Gudrun with Gerard Crich. An industrialist hire, highlighting the tension between modernity and traditional values. What actually this represents and what this represents, you are going to remember. Okay, do remember. Now, the fourth work is Lady Chatterley's Lover. Basically, it was published two times, in 1928 in Italy, 1929 in France. Okay, so don't get confused. Now, it explores the themes of sexuality mostly, but you can also say that love and class is also there. Okay. Now, the main focus is constant read. The eponymous Lady Chatterley, basically she is known as Lady Chatterley, as she was very unhappy with in her marriage to Sir Clifford Chatterley, who is paralyzed from the West Town, like he got paralyzed. Okay, so now she started experiencing loneliness and unfulfillment. So by the time she started finding that love, that fulfillment in somewhere else. Okay, she was basically not thinking about her husband and started uh, finding those emptiness fulfilling things somewhere else. So she started having affair with the gamekeeper Oliver Mellors. Now, you are going to see emotional damages, you are going to see the impact of industrialization in this particular novel. Human connections will also be there. Challenging societal norms will also be there. Okay, so you are going to see a lot of themes here. That is it. Now, the fifth work is The White Peacock. The White Peacock. Okay, it's a first novel of Lawrence, to remember. Basically, because Sons and Lovers was published in 1913, right, and it was published in 1911, so it is the first work, and it's also based on, not based on, we can say that inspired by. Okay, there's a painting of Maurice Griffenham's, okay, 1891 painting An Idol, that inspired this particular novel, The White Peacock. Okay, and it's the first novel, as I told you. Now, sixth work is Kangaroo. It's a novel, of course. It was published in 1923, set in Australia. The only thing you need to remember here is it is all about a writer named Richard Lowell Thomas and his German wife Harriet in the early 1920s. It is all about their visits to New South Wales. Okay, so that is all. Now, seventh work is The Plumed Serpent. The Plumed Serpent, which was published in 1926. You do not need to remember the publishing year. You just need to remember it's a political novel. Do remember this information. And that is also written by D.H. Lawrence. That you need to remember. That is it. Okay. Then the eighth work is The Escaped Cock. Escaped Cock. Basically, have you heard about Christ's resurrection? It is all about that. It's a recasting of the story. Okay. Basically, in how resurrection of Christ narrated in the New Testament, that is all the writer is talking about in this particular work. Okay, now it says the man who survives his crucifixion and comes to celebrate his bodily existence and sensuality. Originally written in two parts. Okay, the particular novel, it's a short novel of 1929 and it was written in two parts originally, but after that it inculcated into one and published. As I told you, that is about a recasting of the resurrection of Christ narrated in the New Testament. That is it. That is the basic story. Now, the ninth and the last work, of course, the Virgin and the Gypsy. You can also remember the Virgin and the Gypsy. This is also the spelling, and also this. Okay, this is also true. Somewhere it changes, so you don't get confused. It's a short novel, and it was published posthumously in 1930. When? In 1930. How? Posthumously. Now, it talks about two sisters, and the tale relates to the story of two sisters, daughters of an Anglican vicar. So that is all you need to remember. You do not need to go deep into it, okay? Just remember the details that I have told you here, and also the names of the works of D.H. Lawrence and some of the facts related to it, and also the major works publishing here is very important, okay? So do that. That is all. And thank you so much. And do remember to revise it again and again so that you can do better in exam. Okay, and thank you so much and all the very best.